r/AskReddit, what do you do when you start to miss somebody who is dead? Miss them. I watched my father die. I was there for his last moments and it's a memory forever ingrained in me, those last moments. But when I think of that time, which normally saddens me, I immediately think about all the good times we had, the valuable life advice I got from him, and that helps. Edit. First, I want to thank you all for sharing your kind words and messages, sharing your stories and the current phases you are in when it comes to losing someone close to you. There's no magical process or words I can offer any of you to make it better. I can only share from my own experience that it just took time and trying to always remember the good times. We both loved wrestling and football. We both loved conversations. We both loved some whiskey and a nice big steak together. Those and many more good memories I hold and cherish. Thank you as well for those of you kind enough to spend some of your hard-earned money to award me as well. I will calculate the amount given and pledge to donate to a local charity. I try to think of something else. I lost my twin sister 6 years ago to suicide. I never thought of life without her. We came into the world together. I never thought we wouldn't leave together. It is unbearable. A man I knew for 13 years died in February of this year. He was a father to me, and several of my friends who lived in our neighborhood. He was always kind, and loved us all terribly. He was a mechanic for a long time and always showed me how to fix my car and helped me understand manuals and schematics. He even took me to get my permit the first and second BC I failed it time. I cried for days. I have been lucky in the sense that not many people who are close to me have died, but I felt this. Best advice I can give is to not bottle it up. If you need to cry, then cry. I had a shot of Jack for him, and I lit a candle for him the night he passed. Rest in peace, Harvey. You were incredibly loved. We all miss you. I hope God welcomes you with open arms. First I get sad, and that makes me wish I could have done things differently, and then I remember there are a lot of people in my life who are still alive, but won't be forever, so I check in with them, and try to do and say the things I wish I had done or said with those who died. r/Endless Thread did an amazing episode of their Reddit-centric podcast, Endless Thread, about dealing with loss that was called Shipwrecked. In it they shared a post that often graces Reddit that I have come to love in times of loss, as well as its backstory. Alright, here goes. I'm old, and so what that means is I've survived so far and a lot of people I've known and loved did not. I've lost friends, best friends, co-workers, acquaintances, grandparents, my mom, relatives, teachers, mentors, students, neighbors, and a host of other folks. But here's my 2 cents. I wish you could say you get used to people dying. I never did. I don't want to. It tears a hole through me whenever somebody I love dies, no matter the circumstances. But I don't want it not to matter. I don't want it to become something that just passes. Man's voice reading same passage fades in. My scars are a testament to the love and the relationships that I had for and with that person. And if the scar is deep, so was the love. So be it. Scars are a testament to life. Scars are a testament that I can love deeply and live deeply and be cut or even gouged, and that I can heal and continue to live and continue to love, and the scar tissue is stronger than the original flesh ever was. Scars are a testament to life. Scars are only ugly to people who can't see. As for grief, you'll find that it comes in waves. When the ship is first wrecked, you're drowning with wreckage all around you. Everything floating around you reminds you of the beauty and the magnificence of the ship that was and is no more. And all you can do is float. You find some piece of the wreckage and you hang on for a while. Maybe it's something physical, maybe it's a happy memory or a photograph, maybe it's a person who is also floating. For a while, all you can do is float, stay alive. In the beginning, the waves are 100 feet tall and they crash over you without mercy. They come 10 seconds apart and don't even give you time to catch your breath. All you can do is hang on and float. After a while, maybe weeks, maybe months, you'll find that the waves are still 100 feet tall, but they come further apart, and when they come, they still crash all over you and wipe you out. But, in between, you can breathe and you can function. You never know what's going to trigger the grief. It might be a song or a picture, a street intersection, the smell of a cup of coffee. It can be just about anything, and the wave comes crashing. But in between the waves, there is life, somewhere down the line, and it's different for everyone. You find that the waves are only 80 feet tall or 50 feet tall, and while they still come, They come further apart and you can see them coming. An anniversary, a birthday, or Christmas, or landing at O'Hare International, you can see it coming for the most part and you prepare yourself, and when it washes over you, you know that somehow you will, again, come out the other side soaking wet, sputtering, still hanging onto some tiny piece of wreckage, but you'll come out. Take it from an old guy, the waves never stop coming, and somehow you don't really want them to, but you learn that you'll survive them, and other waves will come and you'll survive them, too. If you're lucky you'll have lots of scars from lots of loves, and lots of shipwrecks. It goes on so beautifully. I strongly encourage you to listen to the episode, particularly the last part where the poem is read live. Hey op, I've written out this several times on Reddit, on this account and old ones as well, but I'm going to write you out a new response because, as you'll find as time passes, perspective on death changes over time. When I was 18, my best friend died my first week of college. The grieving process was further complicated since I was unable to attend her funeral. I couldn't pay for my own flight ticket back home and my parents deemed it unnecessary for me to fly back to attend. Then, 2 years later, my partner, who is, to this day, the only man I've ever truly loved, committed suicide. I know grief like the back of my hand. This is a familiar pain. It is an original pain. But it is not an eternal pain. For a long while after these losses, it felt like they colored my entire world. Every memory, past and present, felt cloaked in incredibly sadness. My waking and dreaming life were completely consumed by mourning, and the transition was disorienting. The suddenness and permanence of death carries physical weight. It drains the world of color. It casts you into a sea of deep, thrashing waves, and you feel powerless to stay afloat above the blackened pitch of it. Submerged in grief, in dreams, in the interstices between awake and dreaming where you realize at the outset of every new day that this is, in fact, real. It levels you. It is no mistake that people who talk about grief liken it to a feeling of drowning, of becoming a husk of your former self, of being completely helpless to combat a loss that feels more like a piece of you has been bored out and taken away than it does something external. The fact is, we are undone by each other. We are undone by grief. We are undone by the person we lost and the pieces of ourselves they take with them when they go. Grief touches everything. It may feel like it has taken everything, too, but it hasn't. It has only taken what was, not what is, not what will be. As your life grows, so too does the space around your grief. As the architect of our own lives and futures, it may take some time to start writing the chapters after. After all, grief immerses us in the before, but one day, you will have a moment in which you realize you are no longer in the water, in those hungry waves. You aren't consumed, you don't feel the weight. Maybe you're watching a movie with friends, or taking a bike ride, or working on art. Maybe it's a beautiful day and the sun shines down on you and you think for the first time, this can be okay. Those moments are beacons that draw us out of the inner corridors inside of ourselves, back into the world of the living. They are brief new chapters we have written in the storybook of our survival. And they become longer, and brighter. Over time, we start to build a life around grief, or rather, we build a life outside of it. The chapters we write become about the living, not just about the dead. They are revisions of our former selves. They are a roadmap to survival. As the chapters grow in length and size, so too does our ability to live without the punishing weight of grief. It becomes smaller. It feels more like a sea inside a landscape, than the water you find yourself dragged by in every moment. We explore the terrain, and we find there are ways to mourn the dead, and call the living, vivos voco, mortuos plango. The truth is, the grief never leaves us. It has been 9 years since my partner died, 11 since my best friend, on long bike rides, on rainy evenings sitting on my front stoop smoking, and on bridges when I look over the edge and see the water beneath me pulsing with the tide. If they died recently and they still have their phone number set up, call it. Listen to their voicemail. I did this a lot after my best friend died when I was 17. There was something so comforting about picking up the phone to call her and hearing her bubbly voice saying, "Hi, it's me, leave me a message," and knowing she was smiling the entire time she was recording it. Talk about them, reminisce about the time spent with them, allow myself to be sad that they're gone. My best friend died in 2015. I miss her a lot. Edit. Holy shit. I did not expect to wake up to such a response to my comment. Thank you for the awards. The kind words about my loss, and additional words of support, advice, solidarity, and shared loss. I still have my dad's texts on his old number. When I miss him I update my life through there to him. I know it's silly to be sending messages to a disconnected phone, but it helps. When I'm really feeling down I still have an old voicemail he left me on my birthday years ago where he sings to me and tells me how much he loves me and how proud he is of the man I have become. It's been 3 years since he passed and it has become easier to deal with, but it still hurts. Plant a tree in their memory, and watch it grow into something beautiful. Remember the good times, they wouldn't want you to feel down. Dad died in 2004, Mom in 2017, I haven't stopped grieving for them yet. Mainly I cry, go visit their resting place, and talk to them. Miss them, feel, grieve, cry, know that the grief is the other side of love, expressing how much you value the deceased, and bringing them alive in you. Thank them, talk about them, talk to them, learn more from your memories of them, say their name, gather with others to remember them, wish them well and invite them to move on. You also have the option to not assume they are gone. Conservation of energy is a fundamental law of nature. Continuation of consciousness can be verified throughout life. Sane societies don't assume beings are merely material. In fact, the material aspect is the least real, the most changeable and ephemeral. You can verify this for yourself. The average person eats between 35 and 55 tons of food in a lifetime. The body is constantly changing, but the witnessing awareness has always been there, stable, unaging. The I who saw the Grand Canyon at 7 years old and the I who experiences New York City at 60-5 are the same. That awareness has not aged. It is like an ageless mirror or movie screen upon which the whole story of life unfolds. Finally, you can use the energy of missing and the poignancy of your memory of the deceased to better wake up to and understand your own impermanence and certain death. You can take steps to live well, and completely, today, not assuming that even another day will be guaranteed to you or your loved ones, and prepare to die a good death rather than one avoided, rejected, feared as if it's a tragic surprise. I talk to them sounds stupid, but I just talk to them about how much I miss them and about my day. It takes a while and is definitely better done alone, but it just gives you a chance to vent out without making anyone else have to burden your info. Engage yourself in an activity or past time that connects you with them. I usually listen music. We listened with my late girlfriend. I've lost a number of people close to me. I will speak to them. I'm a committed atheist, and believe that nothing remains after we die, but it helps anyway. If it's just a tickle of grief, I'll usually think something like, damn, X would have thought that was so cool. If it's a bigger, pressing grief, I'll talk to them out loud or in my head. I wish you were here for this, or I learned this today. I thought you'd think it was neat, or just fuck. I miss you, sis. My grandmother passed away 20 years ago. I still miss her at times. If you find an answer, let me know. Chaplain here. Honestly, just let yourself miss them, instead of trying to distract yourself and force yourself to do something else. Just let yourself feel it. If you need to cry, get mad, smile, laugh. Just find a place you can either be by yourself or with someone who knows how to just sit with you, and let whatever be feeling happen, and then let it subside. Grief tends to come in waves, and instead of trying to fight the current and not let it move you at all, it helps to give a little. Let yourself grieve, miss them, and when the feelings subside a little bit, take a few more steps. There's no getting back to normal, because the normal you knew can't ever be there again. You've got to learn the new normal, and there's going to be some growing pains, and residual pain from losing that person. Just let yourself be yourself, and don't try and condemn any feelings you might think are bad. Anger, sadness, crying, etc. They're just sensations like pain, tickling, etc. They're telling your body something, in this case, that you're hurt. So let yourself be hurt, and give yourself time to heal. Just be patient with yourself. I tend to wallow in it. May is a rough month for me. My mom died 20 years ago as of May 23rd, her birthday is May 4th, Mother's Day is in May. Constant reminders, but missing her is my reminder she was here. If it's bad enough, in talk with my best friend or my dad about her. Memories we have, it helps. My dad died last summer. When I miss him, I think about all the good times we spent as a family, him getting to know his daughters, in-law, family dinners, childhood camping trips, fixing up the house together. Usually I cry a lot too, which is completely fine. I try not to think about how he died. Accident while doing construction on my brother's house, on his retirement day. Just remember the good times. It'll hurt, maybe forever, but he's still with me every day. Thanks for watching. Comment suggestions for any future videos and make sure to subscribe to not miss out on any more good content. I upload daily videos from r/AskReddit, and if you liked the video, make sure to like the video.